Chapter 101 to 103, The Lone Lion. Does it still hurt here? Tsunade's delicate face drooped, sneering as she lightly poked at Uto's scarred chest. Should I give you a massage? Rub your shoulders, knead your legs. Get your body back in shape so you'll be more efficient next time you head out to die. Wiping away a bead of cold sweat, Yuto replied with a bitter smile. Tsunade-sensei, please stop teasing me. In front of you, I'm no lion. Teasing. I'm just a small slug. Who dares to tease a lion? Oh my, are you going to angrily tear me apart? Lion's bite. Big lion. The bombardment of information from his previous life as a transmigrator kicked in at this moment. Uto had a sudden realization and knew that apologies and promises were the only way to handle this situation. Sensei, I sincerely apologize. I shouldn't have been so reckless with my body. Yuto paused, then solemnly continued. I promise you, I won't use creation rebirth until I have accumulated enough chakra HMPH. Tsunade's expression softened slightly. Seizing the moment, Yuto added, during my journey, I managed to seize a lot of valuable items from the enemies I encountered. I've already placed everything in your room, Sensei. Honestly, when I'm outside I worry most about you. The blonde woman chuckled but quickly regained her stern expression. Lightly huffing, when I taught you the strength of 100 seal, I emphasized numerous times that you mustn't use creation rebirth unless you've accumulated enough chakra. The technique is already highly draining, and using it prematurely will only overextend your body. You've been my disciple for nearly 2 years now and have already made significant progress in medical ninjutsu, showing great attention to detail. Haven't you noticed that your body is healing slower this time? It's already been 5 days since we returned to Konoha, and your wounds still haven't fully healed. You must rest and recuperate to restore your body's reserves. Tsunade raised a pale finger, lightly poking her student's chest. This time she applied much less pressure, causing Yuto to feel only a cool sensation with little pain. But ... Yuto tried to protest. Rest for a while. I still need to train ... For the next half month, don't even think about training. I'll prepare food and medicine for you every day, and you need to follow the schedule I set. Yuto reluctantly accepted Tsunade's arrangements. The blonde woman patted her disciple's head, looking at his scarred body. Suddenly she smiled. Yuto, I have something for you. Turning slightly, she pulled aside her ponytail to reveal her pale neck and removed the necklace embedded with a green crystal. This is for you. Yuto was momentarily at a loss. Having been Tsunade's disciple for nearly 2 years, he knew she was increasingly pleased with him and that she would eventually give him this necklace. The necklace held great significance for Tsunade. The green crystal contained some of the first Hokage's power and could suppress tailbeast chakra Hashirama. Senju gave it to a young Tsunade before his battle with Madara Uchiha in the Valley of the Inn. Although he won the battle, he died not long after. 12 years ago, Tsunade gave the necklace to her brother Nawaki Senju, who tragically died on the battlefield during the Second Shinobi World War, his internal organs gouged out. Later, Tsunade gave it to her lover Don Kato, who also met a tragic end, dying right in front of her and causing her to develop a fear of blood. Tsunade's past, emotions and love were all tied to this necklace, which, in the original story, she passed on to Naruto along with the Will of Fire. But now, Yuto had intercepted it. With mixed feelings, Yuto accepted the necklace. Though the previous male owners met unfortunate ends, they at least died honorably as heroes of Konoha. But for him, one day the beautiful woman before him might regret giving this significant necklace to him. What are you daydreaming about? Can't you tie it? Goodness, young man, don't focus solely on training. You have a lot to learn. Tsunade first had Yuto lowered his head, then moved his hair aside and helped him put on the necklace. There, it fits well. Looking at the green crystal on Yuto's chest, Tsunade nodded in satisfaction. Yuto, don't disgrace the Will of Fire inherited through this necklace. The 3 men who wore it before were all outstanding shinobi. Yuto rubbed his nose, unsure how to respond. Tsunade assumed his silence was due to shyness and excitement, not paying it much mind. However, she seemed to remember something suddenly, clapping her thigh and laughing until her stomach hurt. Right, I just recalled something interesting. Whenever I give this necklace, I habitually add a bonus gift. Her laughter slowly ceased as sorrow and painful memories washed over her. For a moment, her student's appearance overlapped with those of Nawaki and Dan. Tsunade bit her lip and softly said, Yuto, take off your forehead protector. A barely noticeable blush appeared on her face. The moment she said it, Tsunade regretted it. Kissing her brother and lover on the forehead was normal, but kissing her disciple, even though it was just the forehead, he was nearly 15 years old now. She instinctively examined Yuto from a perspective she had never used before. His nose was well-shaped and his eyes were bright. He was indeed a cute and handsome boy. Yuto was momentarily stunned, but having read the original story, he quickly understood what the blonde woman intended. Forget it, he shrugged. Taking it off and putting it on again is too troublesome. Yuto, I didn't expect you to be so lazy. Double quotes. Tsunade laughed to cover her embarrassment. Sensei, thank you for the necklace, it's beautiful. They say I'm 10 times out of 10 a loser in gambling. But this necklace has changed hands many times, and all who wore it were Konoha's pride. In this I won't lose. ... Years later, whenever he smelled the scent of citrus wafting on the breeze, the rogue shinobi who had escaped the caged bird seal would recall that distant afternoon. It was only then that he realized why he had been so evasive in rejecting at that moment. He didn't want the blonde woman to see the caged bird seal, nor did he want her kiss to fall on the ugly curse mark. Yuto lay idly in Tsunade's home, the scent of medicinal herbs lingering around him. The blonde woman was quite skilled at caring for patients. She listed out all of Yuto's hidden injuries, treated them while explaining each step as a lesson. This one-on-one tutoring by a female sensei was highly efficient. If not for these days of careful treatment, Yuto wouldn't have realized he had so many hidden injuries. Despite only staying in the land of hot water for just over 10 days, Yuto's battles had doubled, and the frequency of encountering experts and traps had also increased. But still Dangerous A had lost an eye, and if not for Killer B being confined in Thundercloud Gorge for training, Yuto's injuries would have been even more severe. The impact of Orochimaru's departure was becoming apparent. Previously, as a commander, Orochimaru would actively fight against enemy experts, but now, many combat tasks had to be shared among the remaining top ninjas. A few days ago, Shisui Uchiha and the others visited him. The boy with the Sharingan mentioned it casually. Obito mentioned in his letter to the clan that the front line is getting tougher. They used to be able to take turns resting, but now there's no time to catch their breath. Jiraiya was transferred by Konoha to the land of hot water front line to take over Orochimaru's duties. But taking Jiraiya away from one front to reinforce another left the land of rain front line with only Minato Namikaze. It's now the 57th year of Konoha, and the center of the war storm has shifted from the east to the west of the world. To be precise, it's the unlucky land of rain once again. Konoha, Tsunagakure, and Iwagakure were entangled in a three-way battle in the land of rain, fiercer than in the land of hot water after Jiraiya took over Orochimaru's position. Minato was promoted to commander, gaining a reputation as the top ninja below the Hokage. His power and status rose, and so did his responsibilities. Minato was risking his life on the battlefield every day, using his flying thunder god technique, trying to split himself into 8 parts to be everywhere at once. Orochimaru's departure created a significant void. Fortunately, Hiruzen had managed to kill Yagura, and the Eight-Tails Jinchuriki was also unable to fight. Otherwise, Konoha, stretched thin on 2 fronts, could have easily faltered. During the time Yuto was recovering at Tsunade's house, a rumor began to spread in the village. Yuto Hyuga is going to be transferred to the Western Front to assist Minato Namikaze as vice commander. This piece of gossip was brought to him by Yuto thought about it and felt it might not be just a rumor. That day, he used Creation Rebirth and the mutual multiplying explosive tags to fight against 8 enemies at once, blowing up 2 members of the 7 ninja swordsmen of the mist. Despite appearing miserable in the eyes of the major ninja villages, Yuto was already a top expert capable of influencing the battlefield. The name Lone Lion was becoming more renowned. At this point, sending him as deputy commander to the most intense battlefront to share Minato's burden was quite reasonable. Some keen observers even sensed that Hiruzen seemed to be building a team for Minato. Whether in the land of hot water or the land of rain, the Lone Lion was a direct subordinate of the Yellow Flash. This hinted at a deep battlefield camaraderie. After Orochimaru, the first heir to the Hokage, left, this action carried significant meaning. Yuto didn't mind this. He had stayed in Konoha for over half a year, and his bloodline experiments had stalled. He was also running out of materials for the god's mask and urgently needed to replenish them. However, it was difficult to find opportunities to eliminate targets in the village. If he was sent to the battlefield, it would actually be a good thing. However, if he were to be a vice commander, he might not have as many opportunities to act alone. How he should operate would require more thought. As days passed, although Tsunade initially set a half-month recovery period, by the time Yuto was fully healed, a month had already passed. In the spacious house of the Senju clan, Tsunade tapped her disciple's chest and said with satisfaction, "You have some strong muscles, young man. It's all thanks to you, sensei. Haha. The blonde woman laughed heartily, waving her hand. From now on, you need to pay special attention to your health. As my disciple, if you still have hidden injuries, it would be a disgrace to the slug princess." "Yes, sensei. Also, the old man sent the Ambu just now. We need to go to the Hokage's office." The transfer order finally arrived. Yuto thought to himself and nodded in agreement. To see the Hokage, one couldn't wear casual clothes. Yuto put on his standard Jonin Heikler armor and left the Senju clan with his sensei heading to the Hokage building. Entering the office, Yuto was slightly taken aback. There were more people than he expected. Not only Hiruzen Sarutobi but also Homura Mitakado, Kaharu, Yutatane, and Danzo Shimura, the 3 elder advisors, were present. Danzo looked particularly haggard, indicating he had been having a tough time recently. Besides the 4 of them, Hayashi Hyuga, Fugaku Uchiha, and the heads of the Inoshikacho trio were also there. Seeing Yuto enter, Homura glanced at Hiruzen. The third Hokage nodded slightly without saying anything. After killing Yagura, his prestige had reached its peak, so Homura didn't say much either. Yuto assumed he was going to be promoted to the front line's vice commander, so it was only natural for the village's high-ranking officials to witness this moment. He didn't think much of it, calmly saluted Hiruzen Sarutobi and then stood beside Tsunade. However, Hiruzen's first words left Uto bewildered. "Hayashi, I apologize," the third Hokage said softly. Then, his figure vanished from the spot and punched towards the Hyuga clan leader. Bang! Hayashi Hyuga was also an expert. He instinctively countered, raising his arms to block Hiruzen's punch firmly. "Hokage-sama, what are you?" Hayashi shouted anxiously, not daring to fight back, his voice trembling. The others in the room were shocked, especially Fugaku Uchiha, whose eyes widened. However, after delivering the punch, Hiruzen didn't pursue further. He just stepped back and sighed. "Hayashi, did you notice anything?" Hayashi was stunned and then thoughtfully looked at Hiruzen's fist. That attack just now resembled the starting move of Gentle Fist, but it was only similar in the movement. The actual difference was significant. Rather than saying it looked like Gentle Fist, it would be more accurate to say it was an instinctive use of the most familiar skill. Hiruzen finished the sentence for him, then paused and said calmly, "This was a punch Aizen Sasuke threw when fighting me. I thought about it for many days, carefully pondering and repeatedly analyzing in my mind until I finally confirmed it. The stance, face, and voice can be disguised. Ninjutsu can also use an entirely new set of techniques. But the Gentle Fist, honed day and night from a young age, is engraved in one's bones. It can't be forgotten or shaken off." Moon God. Aizen Sasuke, wearing a mask, going to great lengths to conceal his identity, but in the end, he still slipped up. The people in the office couldn't help but exclaim softly, and cold sweat broke out on Yuto's forehead. Hayashi was so shocked he lost control of his expression. "Hokage-sama, that Aizen Sasuke's real identity is..." Hiruzen took out his pipe, tapped it, and amidst the swirling white smoke, his voice was steady and powerful. "A very clever trick. The enemy used our blind spots in thinking, making it impossible for us to suspect him. He is indeed a formidable guy. Today, gathering you all here, the answer is actually quite obvious." "Incredible, truly incredible. What a setup," Hiruzen Yuto sighed inwardly. "Well then, this day was bound to come sooner or later. Don't think I will surrender easily for freedom and dignity. I will fight to the last drop of my blood. Then, come, my final glorious battle. Lion's Fang... No one would suspect a dead person, especially when his eyes appear at the bounty station. Bite. What? Someone very familiar with everything about Konoha, capable of learning the secrets of the first Hokage and Orochimaru, could only be a direct descendant of an established family with deep roots in the village, silently killing the main family and elite branch guards, with no trace left behind. But if you think carefully, perhaps the battle wasn't that intense. When the one being protected turns their blade on the protectors, everything becomes easy. Digging out the eyes, only to reattach them. Not wanting others to know his identity means that many people recognize him. Meeting all these criteria, it can only be that person who is supposed to be dead. She'll know Suke... Hyuga Tien. They're using their brains to run, but in the wrong direction. Yuto suddenly felt a pain in his lower abdomen. This was due to the drastic expansion and contraction of chakra in certain meridians and acupuncture points, causing muscle spasms and nerve plexus tremors. In simpler terms, he had a stitch in his side. "They almost had me roaring like a lion, didn't it?" Yuto thought bitterly, his emotions fluctuating wildly. However, the reactions of the others in the office were similar to Yuto's. The moon god being Shinosuke Hyuga sounded like a bad joke, but upon closer thought, it seemed plausible. Shinosuke and his branch family guardians had all disappeared, leaving no bodies to be found. No one could prove he was dead. As for that eye, in the shinobi world, organ transplantation technology was quite advanced, and there were black markets in the underworld specializing in such trades. Coercion through force wasn't difficult at all. "This is impossible." Hayashi gritted his teeth and said, "Lord Hokage Shinsuke grew up under my watch. He would never..." "Calm down, Hayashi," Hiruzen Sarutobi reassured him. "This is just a small conjecture of mine. It's the most likely possibility, but it's still just a possibility." Hayashi opened his mouth but didn't know what to say. With Hiruzen's personality, if he said it was a conjecture, it meant he was at least 70 to 80% certain. He had fought the moon god the longest and had vaguely sensed his identity, which was quite normal. Moreover, even Hayashi himself admitted that if Shinosuke were put in the moon god's position, many doubts could be explained. After calming Hayashi, Hiruzen continued, "I called you here today for two reasons. First, Orochimaru's departure from the village has greatly impacted the front line. Onoki, that's senile, has noticed this and is putting increasing pressure on us in the Land of Rain. We need to appoint a new vice commander there." He paused and beckoned to Yuto. "Yuto, you will be the vice commander assisting Minato in the Land of Rain." "Yes, Lord Hokage," Yuto replied, saluting and accepting the token and scroll. "I will announce Yuto's promotion this afternoon. Now, on to the second point. Everyone focused, knowing this was the main reason for today's meeting. Regarding the moon god, this person has targeted Konoha twice and possesses formidable ninjutsu. He is a significant threat. His identity is mysterious, and his whereabouts are hard to track. But that doesn't mean we should sit and wait for him to strike again. His true motives are unclear, but his repeated abductions of Hyuga, Kaguya, and Senju bloodlines show his keen interest in powerful Keki Genkai. This is something we can exploit, provided we can offer bait he cannot refuse. Bait. Everyone pondered the term. Danzo, always one to stab from the shadows, immediately looked at Fugaku, frowned in displeasure, and was about to speak when Hirusen continued. In Konoha, the most valuable Keki Genkai are from the Senju, Hyuga, and Uchiha clans. The moon god has already obtained the first two, leaving only the Sharingan Lord third. Fugaku suddenly interrupted. The glory of the Sharingan belongs to the Uchiha alone. His tone was firm, his refusal unwavering. For bloodline limit clans, maintaining their unique identity was fundamental in the shinobi world. The unspoken rule was clan first, village second. Even a weaker clan like the Inuzuka would rebel if Konoha forced them to hand over their beast-taming secrets and summoning scrolls. Hayashi suddenly spoke up. The village's foundation was built on ensuring shinobi clan's interests. In this moment, the usually opposing Uchiha and Hyuga stood on the same side. Even the loyal Inosheka-cho trio looked at Hirusen, wanting to speak but holding back. Hirusen's earlier words had infringed on all shinobi clan's interests. I understand, Hirusen said solemnly. The village will respect each clan's choices. I swear by my title as Hokage that Konoha will protect all Keki Genkai and prevent any from leaking. The heads of the 5 major shinobi clans seemed slightly relieved. The matter of bait will be handled by me alone. I won't force you into a difficult position, Hirusen said calmly. I will proceed with the assumption that the moon god is Shinasukuga, of course. The trap's location and the powerful forces needed to kill the moon god are crucial. For this, I need ample time to prepare. Everyone understood that killing the moon god with just those present was impossible. Maybe they could win, but the moon god could fly. He could easily escape. To kill the moon god, Konoha's top combat power must be gathered, and perhaps even cooperation with other shinobi villages was necessary. In today's escalating war, these two requirements were extremely difficult to achieve. Even for Hirusen, it would take a long time to arrange. As for whether they could kill him with all their might, no one considered this. If he were truly invincible, he wouldn't wear a mask. This matter is known only to those present. For a long time, I will make some strange orders. I hope you can cooperate and cover for me. Yuto, you are about to take up the position of deputy commander on the land of Rainfront. You will also need to assist in the moon god encirclement plan. After all, there is no better hunting ground than the rain. Hirusen gave a few more instructions. The time, specific location, and personnel were all undecided, making it. But everyone knew that once the encirclement plan was truly launched, it would be a major event that would shake the entire shinobi world, involving countless people. Yuto left the Hokage building, feeling a chill down his spine. The last raid on Konoha, indirectly forcing Orochimaru to leave, had completely angered Hirusen. The old man was planning something big. Although Yuto doubted the success rate of getting top fighters from other villages to participate, he had no interest in a direct confrontation. However, if Hirusen prepared bait that the moon god couldn't refuse, and if the moon god didn't show up, it meant one of the 11 people present had leaked the information. Excluding Hirusen, it was a 1 in 10 chance, a highly dangerous situation, caught between a rock and a hard place. Uto licked his lips. How much of what Hirusen said today was true? The suspicion that Shinsuke is the moon god seemed reasonable, but the only solid evidence was marks of gentle fists during combat. Many people could use gentle fists, broadening the range to Hayashi Hisahusa. Hey, Hirusen called us for this meeting. Was he also testing Hayashi and me? Uto furrowed his brows and rubbed his temples. Forget it, be prepared and take it one step at a time. A shinobi ultimately speaks with kunai in the Hokage building. Hirusen stood before Kaharu and Homura. Danzo. Kaharu began softly. Honestly, how confident are you that Shinsuke Hyuga is the moon god? 80%. The third Hokage exhaled a ring of smoke, obscuring his face like a mountain in the clouds, but we can't rule out other Hyuga clan members. Even Hayashi and Yuto today are suspects. The range is too large, we can't eliminate them one by one. Mishandling it might strain our relationship with the Hyuga clan. Kaharu frowned, worried that Hirusen's actions could cause internal turmoil. I have it under control. Focus on the key figures including Hayashi, Meiko, and all main family members, as well as branch family members like Yuto and others. Their suspicions aren't significant. As long as they appear with the moon god, there's no issue. Regardless, he must die. This time he stole the first Hokage's cells and drove away Orochimaru. If he stirs up trouble again, what will he take? My life. Hirusen paused and revealed the first step of the encirclement plan, leaked some information to the people in Kirigakure. Let them know we respect Yagura and are willing to return his body.